877 35192. Send a text. AlanCoxShow.com if you want to watch. Thank you to Sleth. Thank you to Sleth Jabumbo for helping out today. Did he win a Grammy last night? Did Sleth Jabumbo win a Grammy for anything?
I don't know if he won a Grammy.
All right. A lot of people won Grammys last night.
Did anyone, you guys watch the Grammys? Because I certainly didn't.
No, I didn't watch the Grammys.
God, there's so many artists performing. They're like, and performances by, and then they say the name. I'm like, I've never heard of this person in my life. Not a song,
but it
not
could
a
have
single.
It could have been something like performances by Lenny Kravitz. And you'd be like, who is this guy?
No.
Yeah, you haven't heard of anybody.
Yeah.
No, there's names that I recognize where I would be like, oh, okay, that's performing at the Grammys. But
I got to tell you, I didn't hear names that I didn't recognize. I didn't watch. And apparently they do a lot of these pre-show now. I don't know what the hell they're... Well, listen,
not all of them make the broadcast.
Every music awards program now is super pop-centric. So they've gotten to the point where they're not broadcasting the metal category, which is always a joke anyway. I think Dream Theater won Best Metal Record or whatever, and God bless them. But they're up against Gojira and Mastodon, right? There's no way they should be beating those guys. It's like when Jethro Tull famously got the metal Grammy, and they were up against Metallica. So a lot of them they do pre-telecast. But a lot of those pop artists are foxy too. So I didn't watch, but I got a little bit of recap that I'll throw at you. Some snubs. Some people that were unhappy. I'll tell you who got snubbed. Those Cleveland Cavaliers.
Oh, man, that was such a rough... I mean, they hung in there that whole game with the 76ers, but just couldn't get it done down the stretch.
Sixers over the Cavs last night, 112 to 108. Sixers are a good team. Mm-hmm. And so there are just a few games remaining.
I think there's 3.
In the regular season. There is tomorrow night. Cavs are in Orlando, and then they'll head to Brooklyn to play the Nets on Friday. And then the last regular season game is going to be back here at home Sunday against the Milwaukee Buckaroos.
Still TBD.
Still TBD? Well, don't know when it's going to happen. Cavs head coach KG Snickerlaugh blamed the refs. He said that game was taken. He believes that
he's not wrong.
He thinks that it was a stolen election in that game.
They had so many free throws compared to the Cavs. Mm-hmm. They're just giving them free throws.
Well, this is a home game.
Plays, yeah. And usually it goes in favor of the home team. But stars get calls. And you got James Harden and Joel Embiid. They get a lot of calls.
So that was the way that it went down last night. I always forget James Harden is in Philly now. He's bounced around. Joel Embiid, I know, because he's been there for a minute. But so they come to the end, and is it still? Are they still trying to get a postseason slot here?
Cavs are in 7th place. So,
7th place.
7th place. So they're in the play-in tournament, and the way that works is the 7th and 8th seed play each other. Whoever wins that gets the 7th seed. Okay. And then the loser of the 7th and 8th seed plays the winner of the 9 and 10.
Oh boy.
And then whoever wins that game gets the 8th seed.
Oh, boy.
So right now, we would play the Atlanta Hawks in a play-in game, which I feel like we would take care of them.
Okay.
Get that 7th seed.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But a bit of a precipitous drop for the Caps from mid-season. And
those injuries.
They lost to the Hawks the other night by a very large margin. So
yeah, that was rough.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. But next game will be... tomorrow night on WMMS.
It's the Cavaliers in the town. 'Cause this is the town where we're now living.
Still trying to figure out if MMS is airing the Guardians Diamondbacks game tonight. Preseason game. Spring training game. What do they call that? Cactus League. Cactus League baseball. Right? It's Cactus League and Grapefruit League.
Correct.
The teams that train elsewhere. In Florida?
Florida versus Arizona.
Florida. My daughter trying to get out of Florida, by the way. My older daughter went on spring break. They went on a cruise to Turks and Caicos and the Dominican Republic, and I was texting with her, make sure everything was okay, and everybody was having fun, and blah, blah, blah. And, of course, thousands of flights had been canceled because of all the crazy weather going through Florida. So they're still trying to get out of Florida. She said they had gotten back to Miami on Saturday, and they were supposed to fly out 8 o'clock last night, and then that got canceled along with thousands of other flights. So she's like, well, then we decided we would rent a car because there's a couple of parents there. It's like her and some friends, and then there's a couple of parents. So it's not just a bunch of like 17-year-old girls trying to figure out what to do. And she said we were going to rent a car, but rental cars now are going for like $400 a night because everybody's trying to drive to wherever they need to go. So I was kind of getting an update from her right before the show started, and I guess they finally got a car.
$400.
So they're going to drive back to Michigan from Florida.
Jeez.
Because
that's an adventure.
She's like, well, one of my friends, her grandparents live in Venice, but that's the opposite side of the state. That's like the left coast of Florida, and they were in Miami. And she's like, we did have a rental car, but then we took it back because it had clearly been in an accident, and we didn't feel good driving it all the way to Michigan, obviously. So, yeah, they were really gouging people, I guess, on the rental cars.
I have a question for Floridians or anybody who would know. Are Floridians like cliquish? Like if you're from the east side of the state of Florida and the west side of the state of Florida, like do you guys rival each other? You're like,
you don't want to ask Jason Carr. He is from the east coast of Florida.
It's like, you're from the Gulf. You don't mess with people from the Gulf.
I don't know about that. I mean, are people cliquish in Ohio?
Yes.
All right. Well, Ohio is the Florida of the North.
Yes, they are.
So
cliquish.
maybe they, people aren't that different no matter where you go.
I was just
So
curious.
maybe they are in Florida too.
Depending on what side of the Atlantic Ocean you see, are they snobs? Like they're just like.
I mean,
"Ugh."
on the left coast of Florida, you're probably going to have Buccaneers fans, and on the east coast, you're going to have Dolphins fans. Just to slim it down to sports terms.
Okay.
And then
Because
you have
those
a lot
give
of
you a-
colleges too that play into it. But I think as far as the ocean goes, I think the ones that are probably more snobby are the Gulf side because that's
They get less storms.
well, it's prettier,
Is it?
isn't it?
I don't know. I've been to
feel like-
Panama City and I've been to Fort
Jacksonville, and I've been to
St. Augustine.
St. Augustine, like you're right at the Atlantic Ocean. The Gulf of Mexico.
By the way, the Gulf
is
of
like
Mexico
blue.
doesn't get fewer storms.
I think it gets more.
But yeah, perhaps you've heard of Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah, but I think but the water, like if you go to Clearwater, it's gorgeous over there.
Well, it's called Clearwater.
I know, and it lives
You
up to its name.
Yeah, you go to the other side of the state, between like Melbourne and Daytona Beach.
Yeah, there's no-
That's where Dirtwater, Florida is. And nobody wants to live there.
And they don't call it that. They got to call it other things because they can't call it dirt water.
Well, I stayed overnight in Dirtwater, Florida. It was between Vero Beach and Fort Pierce. Yeah, I don't know, Pound. You should ask Jason Carr. He's the guy who would know. I think it's probably more cliquish between the people who live in the Panhandle and everyone else.
Yeah,
Because
well, I think there's coast people, and then I think there's Central Florida people.
Oh, like Orlando. They're like,
yeah, and then you have the Panhandle people, and they're their own different thing.
I guarantee you probably like the Orlando people are looked at as like tourists of the state. They're like, oh, you're not really Floridians. You just moved here to work at Disney or Universal. Like, you don't matter to our state.
there are people who are native Orlandoans,
Yeah, but they look at it different because it's just
but they're
like
landlocked. No wonder they're angry.
It's a tourism city. I
I
mean,
mean,
well, not,
most cities in,
A lot of them are
Yeah.
tourism cities, yeah.
okay.
and there's a lot of people that move to Florida like all over. So, I mean, that's pretty common. I think what you're probably going to get is like the divide from Miami, where it's more fashion and looked at as like a cool area, versus the Panhandle, the Floribama Shore, as they call it,
Tallahassee.
where, it's more probably has more of a redneck vibe up there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because you're butted up against Georgia and Alabama, and
Georgia.
you're closer to Mobile than Orlando. You should go down there and you should find out, Poundcake.
Well, no, I've been. I've been to Panama City.
Yeah.
And I've been to St. Augustine. Never quite made it to Miami. But
Those are way north. You should get down to Miami
I want to. It's just very expensive.
or
and
Key West.
I would love to go to Key West. Just I need a buddy and a bank account. That's all.
A buddy and a bank account. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get a bunch of calls in the after hours line. People take great umbrage with Poundcake's what he wants in a person. You know, it's just what he wants.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Alan can't listen to the podcast from Friday when Poundcake is listing his demands for a partner. I think that is one of the funniest things I've ever heard is him demanding all the success and riches of other people for them to have the right to accompany him. It's almost like he took the first couple lines of the Timbaland song with Carrie Hilson, The Way I Are, as a dating checklist of what not to do. I don't think he's in a position to demand anything. Love you, bye.
I didn't say anything bad.
He's like that. I ain't got no money.
I have my own car. I live with the roommate, but my name's on the lease.
I don't see anything wrong with what Poundcake says he wants.
People will hate on me literally for anything.
Well, no, it's not that they don't have a point. I'm just saying,
what point was he making?
That it's silly for you to go, I want X, Y, and Z when you're bringing nothing to the table.
That's not true, though.
What are you bringing to the table?
You've never been in a relationship with me. They don't have to support me. I'm not counting on a dude to pay my bills. I pay my own bills.
No, but it's you've made it publicly known that you want to be a kept man.
So?
That's in direct contrast to what you just said.
There's plenty of a kept man doesn't necessarily mean paying for me.
Yes, it does. That's what it means.
Then that's not what I want then.
Oh.
No, I don't. I thought being a kept man was you just being one person and sticking with them. That's what I thought.
No. Like when a kept
that's
woman.
Called a relationship.
That's right. Yeah. When you hear a woman go like, I just want to be a kept woman, that means everything's taken care of for her.
No.
Everything. She married a rich guy. She doesn't have to do anything.
No, because that's boring.
She goes and gets pedicures and whatever. Well, to some people, that's all they want.
Because if that's what I wanted, I would have stayed in my last relationship because he had his own house. He had a great career, could vacation as he wanted, could buy as he wanted. I had all that, and none of that seems fun to me if
you're not with the right person.
If I couldn't enjoy it with the person I was with, yes. So no.
Again, I'm on your side. Everybody wants what they want. Might not be for somebody else, but talk about pop music. Okay, listen. Jason Carr, our boss, for a little while longer, is a Florida native, and Poundcake goes, "Hey, do people on one side of Florida?" You're from the East Coast of Florida, yeah?
Yeah, I'm from the East Coast.
Are there rival factions within the Sunshine? Is it the Sunshine State?
Yes.
It is indeed the Sunshine State, and there are no East Coast, West Coast type scenarios per se. Not like we have here in Cleveland where you're East Side or West Side, but
right.
It's more of a native / anti-New Yorker vibe. Depends on what side of the state you're from, because if you look at the phallic shape of Florida, 95 goes down the east coast of Florida, so the influx of like people from Boston and New York, especially New York, come down to the east coast, and then 75 comes down to the west coast of Florida, so it's a lot of Midwestern peoples, and really they're horrible drivers. So we deal with snowbirds a lot down there, and it's like, all right, I'm a native here, and you're clearly from New York because you just cut me off and ran me into this phone pole. That's the type of scenario.
And you have New York plates. So
exactly.
so it's less internecine battles, and it's more about natives versus the goddamn carpetbaggers who came down.
That's pretty much accurate. Yeah, it's more of a snowbird thing because in the winter time, like right now, all the snowbirds are making their great migration back north to the Midwest and to the Northeast, and then you're left alone for the better part of summer when it's ungodly hot and hurricanes are rolling through. And then they come back down and ruin traffic and bring a lot of money with them. That's how it works.
Oh, look at that. Just think of it, right? The end of the season when the girls get easy, when the townies are ready to roll and everybody goes back whence they came. But it's, okay, good. Well, does that clarify your question, Poundcake, that it's more about natives versus tourists?
Yeah.
Carpetbaggers?
I just kind of always wondered that. I didn't know if one side of the shore was better than the other. Like you
can dissect it a little bit more if you really want to. Florida, you can dissect into 3 different portions of the state. You got South Florida, which is basically the northern Caribbean. And then you got Central Florida, which is tourist central, and that's where, basically the South starts. And then you got the Panhandle in North Florida, which is basically the South. So there's kind of like dividing lines throughout the state. And then you can go even further, and you got your Florida rednecks, which are very uniquely redneck to that area. Very different from the hillbillies that we have up here, but still uniquely redneck.
I believe Hill Williams is the preferred nomenclature.
Yes, Bill Williams.
Classy.
Bill Williams.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah, I mean, it basically is the melting pot of the melting pot.
All right, cool. All right, thanks, man.
Thanks, Jason.
You got it, gentlemen.
All right, there's Jason Carr, who you can hear on WMMS. He's our boss for a little bit longer, and a native Floridian with all the deets there.
Ain't nobody gonna tell me how to live.
You know, it sounds silly, but people forget that Florida is very much the South. And so when you go down there, Poundcake, just make sure that you tell everyone that you're from Ohio, and they'll treat you great.
I'm sure they will.
Go, guys, I'm from the Florida, the North. It's like you're our sister city. You're our sister state, or whatever it is.
Yeah, I'm down with that. Mm-hmm. I've been to Florida a couple times. It's just really, really, it's really hot. It's like
So hot.
It's humid hot.
Especially if you're inland.
Yeah.
Like if you're in Orlando.
Yeah, we were in
you know?
Orlando.
Yeah.
Had
Which
my
is just what somebody called one giant piece of suburban sprawl, which is probably a good way to put it. Because so much of it's an industry town because of the amusement parks and things like that.
I had my stupid Captain Jack Sparrow hat on, and it was sweating. But yeah, it was fun.
Why did you have a Captain Jack Sparrow hat on?
Because I
He's a big fan.
But you kind of need the whole look.
I think I kind of did at the
Did you have the
time.
eyeliner on and the
I was like
payas and
I was like 14, and
Oh.
it was there, and it was
Ain't
like
nobody gonna tell me how to live.
all right.
it was $40 for like the get up, and so my aunt thought it would be funny if I walked around with that on, and I didn't realize how hot it would be.
All right. Well, now you know.
Yeah, never again. I don't even know where it is.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Well, next time you're down there, when are you going? You're going to Vegas, and then at some point you're going to want to go down to Florida.
I want to go to Key West because Key
Key
West
West!
is like the gay
Yeah, that's
mecca.
the gay- one of the many gay meccas he mentions.
No, I think out of the per capita, I think probably Key West has more gays. Then it's San Francisco. Then it's New York.
Right, but I'm just saying you also said that.
You know, when you say per capita, there's many per capitas. It's like per capita relative to what? But you can look at just about any category, and we're really at the top, meaning positive on a per capita basis.
Yeah, per capita.
Right, but then you also say Tel Aviv is.
That's the gay mecca of the world.
He means
so there's-
domestic gay mecca.
All right.
That's the gay mecca of the world. I'm talking about of the
See,
U.S.
I thought Mecca was like all. You know, there can only be one Mecca. I didn't know you could. Make all
It's
these
mecca
different
is to
meccas.
what? There's plenty of meccas.
Mecca relative to what?
Mecca
Mecca
like a
relative to-
hive.
Yeah. Mecca Lecca High, there's Mecca Hiney Ho, there's yeah, there is only one Mecca, but of course Key West might be his domestic, at least on this side of the country, gay Mecca.
I want to go to Tel Aviv so bad. I'm just so afraid of like
Do
getting
tell.
attacked.
Aviv.
Yay!
Yeah, no, it's just super hot
I want you to go too.
Jewish boys
I really want you to go to Tel Aviv.
and not come back.
I didn't say, why did you say that? I didn't say that.
Why do you want me to go to Tel Aviv so bad?
Because you want to go so badly.
Yes, I
He
do.
wants what you want. He wants you to be happy.
I appreciate that. That plane ticket's like $1,200 one way. So
Yes, ever going to be cheaper, by the way.
There you go. Just one way.
Yeah, I don't think there are any deals to Tel Aviv.
there should be. Why not?
I don't know. Why should there be? I mean, if it's a very popular destination, why should there be?
I don't know.
You have 4 million people there. It's a big city. $1,600 is what I'm looking at.
I think there's only
13 hours. Yeah.
How much?
What I'm looking at is it's a 13-hour flight that starts at $1,600.
Oh yeah. So I saw it cheap when I saw it because it was like $1,200.
There you go.
Oh, that's a.
I mean, you could probably get cheaper flights. You want to be on a cheap flight for 13 hours?
Absolutely not.
With your knees in your chest,
and I don't want to
riding in there like cattle?
I don't want a long layover either. Like you was like, okay, we stop
2.5 days. And
we stop in London for 19 hours, so you can continue your quest to Tel Aviv. No, thank you.
Now it's become a quest. Not just a place he wants to go. It's become a quest.
Because I don't think how long can a plane stay in the air? A plane can't just go
Depends on how long.
16 hours without
If it has
stopping and
enough-
refueling.
Well, if it has
they can.
enough fuel,
If they have
yeah,
enough
it can.
fuel, they build them specifically to fly for that long.
Right.
I think my flight from San Francisco to Japan when I went to the Philippines was around 16 or 17 hours.
Yeah, I mean, if you fly to Australia,
it's
it's almost a full day. It's like 23 hours in the air.
but the plane doesn't stop at all.
No.
Where are you going to stop?
Where are you going to stop?
They usually have like if you fly from
an
US to
aircraft carrier?
No, they stop in like South Africa. Like they stop at like Cape whatever. They refuel and then it goes back up.
No.
I've heard of that before.
South Africa's further. When you're flying over the Pacific Ocean, the direction I'm talking about.
Okay, well I was thinking about that land.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but yeah, we flew to Japan, then we went to Hong Kong, and then the Philippines.
Okay.
And those flights in between were 2 hours or so. But from San Francisco to Japan was about 16 or 17 hours.
That is just so scary.
Yeah, you're not
being
stopping off in Cape Town if you're going to Australia. Okay. But you'd be leaving from like California. You'd like fly to LAX or whatever.
Okay, then yeah, that makes sense. I was like, oh, Cleveland International Airport.
How much is the flight from Cleveland to Sydney? That'll be about a week, sir. $4,000. And then extra for your bag. Do you have a bag, sir? Get you to Bora Bora for $2,000. How about that?
Oh, it's Cleveland International Airport.
Yeah, I know. It means it goes to a couple countries. All it needs to do is go to one other country to be an international airport.
So we got Canada. We'll fly over Lake Erie. You go to Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations.
There you go. I'm going to break. If you want to get a text for something, 35192, AlanCoxShow.com, and you can listen anywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
The Alan Cox Show. On 100.